Is that what's her name? The one that became the core of Hydaelyn?
Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Benar, we should meet
Exactly.
you here.
Yeah, I know. She's the core of Hydaelyn, Yomi. Nowadays.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work. Benar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
Makes sense. Oh! Shiva just went down my spine. Will she recognize us?
It has been a while, Hydaelyn. You look well. Less so, Emma.
Probably not.
I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
Hey! I'm present, don't speak so of me.
How is she, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh yes, please, I wanna know.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you.
That escalated quickly.
Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
It's only logical.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
That sounds rather like the Blessing of Light.
I see you are not ignorant to its presence. And while there are many protective spells, the one you bear is unmistakably mine.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
I killed you. I just want to tell him. Well, that's how it is.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
Well, I could, but it wouldn't it do stuff?
The reality to which you must return
Oh yeah, right.
exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
Well, admitting you come from the future wouldn't really. I mean, she already knows it anyways.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours.
Okay. So it is the one where you generate the new timeline.
How very exciting. I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
All right, we want to avert something that even you failed to avert.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself.
Eh? So what?
As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
You can kiss my ass, Mr. Hades.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation?
Can I not just tell him that I'm the one who's gonna kill him?
At an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiten Oikos.
Poiten Oikos. Such a fun name to say. Poiten Oikos.
We were meant to meet. I am certain of it. Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly, and sent you unto myself in the past.
That's actually true.
It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. And quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
The problem you present is vexing enough without adding the old Asm into the equation. And she wonders why these lines upon my brow grow deeper when she herself wields the hammer and chisel. The Asms, both mentor and student, are a force to be reckoned with. I find them a delight personally, but they have a habit of making Emetzark look as if he bit down on a sour grape. The crystal, well done. Wonderful, now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging in my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? Traveling and searching go hand in hand. You travel often then? It seems we have something in common. Yeah. What a coincidence, right? Long ago, when I held the seat of Azan, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such journeys has lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Why is everybody calling me whimsical? That is what brings me to Alpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested, my opinions sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate the missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is, the way one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, answers. Yes, give me some answers. Oh.
A wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Would that I had sweetmeats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like.
Thanks.
Now then, will you tell us your tale?
No? In the future I came from, a calamity called the final days has befallen the world.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
How much is how much is she gonna tell them? Everything. Wow, okay. Everything, literally everything. Oh,
Utterly preposterous.
the memory altering machine. We can just undo their memories of this. Ah, now I get it. Good plot device.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vanar?
She knows everything is
Not knowing
true.
the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Hydaelyn? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide.
Well, it did. It let me hear.
That it's of import to your mission is plain. But your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future, whence she came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
I don't think so.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which she must return.
That's true.
By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle. And we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact.
Why hasn't Hades said anything so far?
If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear.
Yeah.
Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, The only provisions I could make were for flight.
I also found that quite stupid.
Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
You didn't fail. You created Zodiark. It worked.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale?
Oh, aren't you content with your position in the story?
Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman. To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this Zodiark in the highest esteem.
Well, you did.
Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory.
That's what you did.
Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable?
It's actually a good question. I mean, the simple answer might be because you wanted to fall, because you wanted to be stopped, because you believed in us that we could do what you couldn't. But that might actually, now that you're mentioning it, that might be... Maybe
Now,
it was not
I will
a reason.
allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again. Emmett Selk, wait!
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
I'm very sure Hermes and Meteornas are involved, that's for sure. And also that Dynamis is the key.
Hermes and his creation Meteon, you say?
Maybe for some reason he has to undo Meteon and he doesn't want to.
If Dynamis is the self-same energy as Akasha, as it likely seems, then those two may well be at the center of the calamity to come. This warrants further investigation. With that settled, tis time for action. The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. Now suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest. Have faith. If Emmett Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
I would love to see Azum. I would love to see myself. Shall we begin our investigations then? I am acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus I should suggest we fall back on the tried and true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteion, and I have a good idea of where we might begin. Questions? For me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. The following event cannot be skipped. Greetings, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes, and I was wondering if you might indulge her. Certainly, Mistress Venard. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? I think we kinda seen what kind of a person he is, so... What are Hermes' interests? Well, we also have kinda seen that, but... whatever. His interests? Well, he is an authority on flying life forms and has expansive knowledge of living creatures in general. Is that what you wish to know? How would you describe him as a person, as a colleague? He's a quiet man, reserved, you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. I hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? How long has Meteion been here? Oh yeah, that's a good question. I cannot rightly say. As the chief's personal creation, Meteion has not been subjected to observation and study like other concepts. So one day she was simply there. And what do you make of her abilities? I do wonder if he already used that memory-altering device on people. You know, not only on creatures. I understand that she is highly unusual familiar, able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with her talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies, I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I have not had occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. Of course they trust him. What question is that? Do you wish you knew him better? What choice is that? Both of those questions are stupid. Do you wish you knew him better? The chief may not be the most gregarious individual, but he engages with us as is necessary for everyone to perform their duties. I wouldn't want to intrude upon his privacy for the sake of curiosity. Though if you wish to learn more about Meteion, you could try speaking with Timaeus, another expert in the creation of flying concepts. He should be conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I just suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and your insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Come, Yumi, I think we've taken enough of Ismene's time. Yes, I am Timaeus, but please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. So, what is it you wish to speak about? Is it true you are an expert in flying creations? It's like when a genie tells you, you have 3 questions to ask. Is it true that you'll answer me 3 questions? Yes, really? Yes, really? Yes, that has been your 3 questions. What do you think of Chief Hermes' flying creations? Chief Hermes' work? A worthy subject indeed. Those beings which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favorite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high that they disappear from view, others which traverse the boundless sky in moments and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. Clearly sounds as if he did, you know, like create dragons, or the ancestors of the dragons, I don't know. Meteion too is a marvel then. My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Meteion as a concept, I have never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know that she has gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Meteion's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will this design be registered for public scrutiny. Analyzing a colleague's creation before the step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if it came to me, a fellow artisan looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Do you know of Dynamis and Entelechis? Dynamis and Entelechis? Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Alpes which exhibited properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence in interest? Well, kind of. Why are you shaking your head? Then why bring up the subject? I'm flattered that you sought my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to? I see, even an expert in the field had little understanding of Meteon's capabilities, let alone an awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Meteon as his personal project and could provide no details beyond those which he just told me. Which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach any definitive conclusions. I mean, it's pretty obvious, to me at least, that we're gonna, erase at least Emmet Selk's memory and probably also Hydaelyn's memory with the engine that they have to do that, so that they don't remember the future that we told them, and everything can happen as it should. But I do wonder if we do so with Venard. And if we don't, if that's still a new timeline, or if it actually happened in our own timeline. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis and the Entelechis which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them in any depth. Except for Hermes, it seems. Thus I am inclined to stay our current course and learn all we can about the Chief Overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note you can tell me about Meteon, aside from her unorthodox method of communication? She and her sisters were created to journey to the stars and search for intelligent life. I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? Yeah, I don't know why I'm only mentioning it now. It's like, I don't know, a key component of everything. So these siblings of hers now travel the great expanse in search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unresolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue. One we should keep in mind as we continue. Yeah, exactly. Next, I propose we take ourselves to Peripeteia Crystalline, not far from here. Just follow the path to the west. This tower and the one further along are both part of Peripeteia Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Alpes' observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we are here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lesson short and see what those two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there anon. Indeed, so if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what was it you wished to speak with me about? About Meteon and Hermes. The Chief of Overseer's personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Meteon. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Meteon appeared, only that she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galene shared with me. Elaborate, please. Galene is my partner and a fellow researcher here in Alpes. She was returning late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending Meteor and Heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she'd ever witnessed. That sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Venard, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with a retelling of the sight which so delighted your Galene? Of course. Or you could hear it from her lips directly if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject in Metabasios Thalassae. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans, recreating in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Vinard. Even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed they do. This is a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as Azem. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as the basis of many technologies still in use today. It's kind of funny how they're like, hey, yeah, you've done so much, don't you want to go die now? Yeah, sure. I mean, I prefer it to, you know, our definition of death, with everyone being afraid of it and whatnot. But still, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe she just wants to live in peace. Why not? Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody that nature with as much enduring passion as you. I dare say there is not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. I will be honored. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galene in person? Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. I will take you up to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That would be most helpful, thank you. You know, for this being the end of the world and stuff, it sure has very beautiful areas. Yes, Galene, of course. I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she's ready to receive us. Finally some alone time.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view.
Just triggers me each time hearing answers.
What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
Well, yes it is, but we don't know for how long. Some parts are, others not so much.
Dark hidden places, rife with danger. Those have an altogether different, but no less powerful sort of appeal. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures?
Sure, I mean, it can't get worse, right? I already told everything of importance, I guess.
Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
Still waiting for the moment where something is just gonna go horribly wrong, right? I guess they're just building the relationship with Vinard so that it's has more impact once we have to kill her. Because I'm still standing with it. I'm still sure that we will have to destroy Hydaelyn. Of course, in turn meaning killing the core of Hydaelyn, which is Vinard. The last of the ancients. The Unsundered.
Incredible. would that I could have been there to see it.
Why does answer hit so much harder than anything
Yours is a
else
harsh
in
and
this game?
unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue.
I think for the vocal versions, I like Dragon's Song more, to be honest. But the piano version of Answers is just so good.
To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word.
Those blue eyes.
As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe.
Yeah, that's what usually happens, right? The more you learn about something, the more you realize that you don't know anything. Jon Snow.
We too are miracles, each and every one of us. Born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me. An epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true. And a presence without. Immense, yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating. How keenly aware I became of creation's fragility. Built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath.
Which is why you started traveling.
I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people, beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose, my love.
So everything Hydaelyn's done is genuine, I guess?
And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it.
She is.
The moment she can let go and walk unto the end.
Well, I guess at this point at the latest we know why it's called Endwalker, right?
Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You who are our future. Tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Pray forgive my lateness.
Oh,
My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone. Like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling.
well, he did say Meteon stands for shooting
But
star,
then another
right?
shot up. Then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Metea, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day.
It's really interesting how they trust each other, right? I mean, everybody can basically do whatever they want, even though they have so much power. Well, I guess it just wasn't their nature back then to be envious of each other and commit sinister acts against each other. Or at least not yet. I mean, somehow someone still had to trigger the last days, right? The final days. And of course, currently everything is pointing at Hermes.
Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls.
It's kind of interesting to imagine that we would actually only be like a third of the hate we have currently.
Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Or half or whatever.
Please.
From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under the assumption our next step should be to divine why, or even if he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. Now, if I were conducting some mystery research, where would I go? Over there. Ah, what about that one? Have you the means to fly? That's quite a distance away. I haven't yet found all ether currents, so no, not really. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argos. I know that one. My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Yomi over to that island? They seem to be minding. Stubborn creature, there is no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and still he remains obstinate in the presence of strangers. Argos has rather exacting standards, I'm afraid. I've already ridden on one of those in the future. What? You've ridden him before? Ah, your before meaning my after. Not at all confusing that. Interesting. This is certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, the quick solution is for us to face off in a sparring match. Wait, what? Demonstrate to him that you are capable of being the Alpha! Of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argus that you are worthy of his back. And besides, I might even teach you a thing or two into the bargain. Ah. You're pretty fond of yourself. You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember. A memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Choose your battlefield. I'm so gonna have my ass bet. I admire your confidence. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await you at the clearing over yonder. Alright, let's bang our heads against each other, like those Melanions with their antlers. Shall we begin? Be warned, I'll not go easy on you. Yeah. You're a paladin, are you kidding me? Well, you're gonna see how that's gonna end.
Let neither side hold back.
Sure, why would we? Theos? What the hell? That hurts.
My blade sings!
Circumcental arc. True blink. Holy crap.
My blade sings!
Strange music.
Impressive. I shall have to
For a
try
battle.
something different.
I wonder if Heavensward is watching. I hope he is. Senpai! Oh, she's my senpai too.
No quarter. Have a taste. I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I.
It's just because of the echo, because I regenerate so much health. I would have been down and out like 3 times if not for the echo. brilliant conviction, or whatever it's called. Okay. They're pretty small.
Prepare yourself.
Ouch. You kinda hurt, lady. Okay.
Very well. Let us move to the final trial.
Oh, there's another one. Where did that one come from? Oh, come on. How many more? Got any more? Okay, only one orc came through.
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will!
Yeah. No active time event. That was a nice one.
You still
Ouch.
stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have
It's
seen
only me.
enough.
Don't worry, it's only me. Why are you saying you have said enough? I thought we were doing that for the dog. He should be the judge, no?
'Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you.
What do I mean, finish it? You wanted to kill me? Hey, that's
I
not
think
nice.
I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azem when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, her strength was astounding.
Has she still not realized we're the same person? Or...
As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys.
Yay, Doggo happy. Doggo double now. Me, Alpha! Rah! Alpha Doggo.
Well now, I dare say he is warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
I see, that's the interesting thing. It's just looking really like this actually happened in our past, right? And they remembered us when we came to the moon. Well, I mean, they probably would have remembered us anyways, since we're Asm and stuff, and they probably would know Asm, right? So Argus will soon have us standing on the very spot where the Metea made the departure into the night sky. With luck, we will learn something of Helma's intentions. My hope is that we find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us rather than against us. Isn't it pleasant? Argus certainly seems to think so. I mean, I get motion sick on basically everything, so for me this would be rather, you know, horrible.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment.
Well, I guess that's the exact reason why he would go there, right?
The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before?
Well, yes. What do you think I am here for? But probably not the way you are meaning it. Oh yeah, wait,
So
the echo, of course.
You cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you.
So that's something you can do, huh? Makes sense, because we got it from Hydaelyn, right?
Come and stand before me.
Yeah, of course. Oh my god, how could I forget the echo?
There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether.
Sounds easy enough.
Memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
That was easy.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness. Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last.
Well, 100 years isn't that long, right? In their terms? To get to another star?
Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Soon.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to
Soon,
you
TM.
and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us. Diverse in form and culture. Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
Utterly unlike. How?
You so sure about that? Maybe they could be pretty similar.
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No. I will think earnestly on them all.
I do wonder what happened to all of them. And how Midgard's armor is
And
connected
I will
to them.
share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life. Meteon, as though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet. Learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples? Covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps... a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
So why is she still with him, if he planned to also have her go? I mean, at first I was like, oh yeah, of course he needs one to get the status reports from the others, right?
So, what is your opinion?
He's a gentle soul, but yet there could be something horrible happening to those meteor, right? I don't know how I would take that.
I understand. He is a gentle soul, and well-intentioned. Yet it does not take ill intent to beget ill.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you never know what happens after. I mean, the most gentle soul can go pretty dark if the right, or well, the wrong things happen.
We must consider the possibility that something may have gone awry.
Exactly.
Perhaps it was oversight, or simply an accident. In light of this,
Answers! I mean, it might also be that they kind of use the celestial ether or the dynamis or akasha, whatever you want to call it, as kind of fuel for their travels and therefore expend the one that is on Hydaelyn, on Aetherius.
I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself. If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution.
What if we have the self-fulfilling prophecy here? If it happens because we say it would happen, right? I'm still not entirely sure about, you know, the timeline thing. We don't kinda know how the original timeline where the Crystal Exarch was coming from, right? What happened to that one once he went back in time? If that one disappeared, or if it's still just going as a separate world, separate timeline, separate dimension. And yeah, of course, we can still use the memory altering device.
Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness.
We do need Hermes for that, probably, I guess.
'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
There are any number of places where Hermes might be in Alpes. But we could do worse than to look in Ctesi's Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in... oh god, the names. It stands in Ethoseletikos Boreas, the Northern Isle. I wonder, Yomi, for an institution which claims to studiously research every species destined for release into the world, did you not question how they find room for them all on so few islands? Well, I thought they wouldn't be here all at the same time, right? The answer lies within Ctesi's itself. I touched upon the practice before back at the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same holds true for the interior of this facility and its magically constructed environs. It is there, within those sprawling habitats, that the Chief Overseer and most of Elpis observers conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the teleporter north of Poiton Oikos. I love that name. Passage to Ethos Alatikos Boreas. Sounds kinda snowy. This appears to be the teleporter Venard told you about. Modes of light yet hang in the air, suggesting the device was but recently activated. Not very snowy. Alright. Let's see how this area's story ends, right? Here we are, the grandest research facility in Alpes. We should head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility, as we have just discovered. It's Geralt. Now I know who he's remembering me of. Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into dynamis as well as his creation of Meteon were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appeared to possess the Chief's depth of knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear any tales of stolen research. Which means that if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he might be recruited to help prevent one. That's also what we thought of. Or so saith the illustrious Heavensward. So you actually believe me? According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents and the final days, but were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hydaelyn's sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of a solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is if the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we failed to perceive it. And what better fits the description than the invisible intangible dynamis? Which in turn leads us to our next question. How did Hermes in his role as Fandaniel not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew and was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced at perceiving truth and would have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish of the world to end, of that I am certain. Yeah, me as well. At least not currently. It seems there is more to the tale after all. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. How comforting. We seem to have reached the exact same conclusion. I see no reason to delay further. This time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Thank you for your understanding. Save your thanks. I did not say I believed your ridiculous story. Well, you kinda did, didn't you? But as Heavensward, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I may find it. I think the time of leisurely exploration is past, if I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is, on the next isle over. Meteon is with him. Hermes appears to be in the midst of an observational study, but I suggest we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path. We can teleport the Mesopsis Euros from the device at the bottom of the slope. Mesopsis Euros is interesting in that it is the only region in Elpis which lacks a researcher hub. This is largely due to the nature of its observation sites, within which they let loose creatures anticipated to be unruly and dangerous. I have also heard tell that the area is kept deliberately sparse in the event that, well, let us just say that no one should live near the teleporter which provides access to a certain facility. What, you expect me to praise you on your progress? On the contrary, I'm simply surprised you made it this far. Then again, even with you slowing her down, there is no denying that Venard is an accomplished researcher. Her wealth of wisdom and experience is unmatched, and her achievements in creation magics, in any field frankly, are nothing short of extraordinary. though the singular brilliance which sets her apart can make her motives somewhat impenetrable at times. As her student and successor puts it, she is a force of nature, at once so close, and at the same time so very distant. We seem to be having quite the intimate relationship, right? You and me? Asm and Asm? Hey, Meteon. Yumi, where did you come from? Well, I just walked here. Yumi, what are you doing here? I thought you were keeping Thordeus and Emetzel company. I kind of did, but we were in search of you. We want to tell you something. An important matter, and unrelated to my decision on Fendaniel, you say? Yeah, exactly. Then yes, I will come, as soon as my work here is finished. It will not be long, I promise, but you should really wait outside the garden with the others. There is no place for idle exploration. I was prepared to swoop in if need be, but it's clear that you have faced your fair share of monstrous opponents. Everybody is treating me like a child. You spoke with Hermes then? And were briefly entangled with the denizens of the Hungering Gardens as well, I see. Or should I say smell? Yeah. They didn't hit me though, so don't know what you're smelling. I cannot speak for certain Convocation members, but I, for one, am impressed with your fortitude. Well done indeed. Now that you've convinced Hermes to confer with us, let us pray that things will soon take a turn for the better. For as fascinating as it would be to meet the Emetzel who would recreate Amarod in the depths of the ocean, I think it best for all concerned if such tragic events never came to pass. Be it in our future or your past, assuming yours is not truly written in stone. Naive hope, that is.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Aye. A matter of the utmost gravity, if one can suspend disbelief. Go on then. Tell him what you told us. Who you are, and why you came.
Shouldn't he, like, have something to sit on, you know? Not sure if he should be standing when I tell him that. I'm from the future. Everything went to hell. You might be the cause of it. So I came back. Because I don't want that everything goes hell.
Days.
Maybe it's Meteon. Maybe Meteon did it all.
The phenomena observed during these star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction. And none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction.
Such destruction.
Not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom.
Was not my intention.
And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter, on the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to dynamis. Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics. In the second, it warped the people themselves.
Well, I mean, we still don't exactly know what created people in the first place, right? If we really are just remains of shattered engines, or if we're just species as any other that you created at some point. Because if it was the latter, then it would be the same, right? It would still be warping creation magic.
The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age. As you know,
Would help to know, to be
in
honest.
essence negates dynamis. Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics.
Yeah, because I would also think that the reason that not everybody can just turn like everyone else, right? I mean, I would assume that we as the Warrior of Light wouldn't just turn to be a monster just because we fell into despair, but of course I could be wrong with that.
In contrast,
7 times rejoined.
having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether.
Okay, so every human-like being possesses fractured souls. Okay.
Thus are they susceptible to the influence of Dynamis and its transformative potential. But that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source. A source to which the
Back to the
victims
horror
must be attuned. One that harbors the self-same negative emotions. Elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
We're back to the horror movie music. A source to which the victims must be attuned. One that harbors the self-same negative emotions. Elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change. I mean, I'm almost just thinking Hydaelyn, but I don't think Hydaelyn would have any reason for despair and hopelessness, right? Or would she? What else would people be attuned to though? Well, the ethereal sea, the star itself, Ethereus.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
And who would that be? Because we still only have the option of Hydaelyn or something completely different that we have no idea of. Or ourselves. Or, I don't know, Meteon. Let's see.
So, we've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
It's kind of interesting. What happens to Zenus, right? I mean, something must be around Zenus. It would make no sense to having him in the game if it wasn't something about Zenus. But could Zenus be? Huh. Well, I mean, probably, right? He's not really one to love life. The only joy in life is fighting us. Might be Zenus.
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere.
Then again, Zenus wouldn't have been there for the first final days, right? Probably. I mean, he might also be one of the unsundered, one of the sundered, of course. He might also have been, I don't know, in the convocation, one of the 14, whatever.
According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested.
Yep.
If the inciting factor came from without Atheris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
What? You're thinking it might actually be one of the Metea that it dispatched from Earth. Or something that be just something completely new, which would be a little strange, but okay. Aliens!
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Okay, so it is actually Meteor.
Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm.
Are you kidding me? So one of them actually...
I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts.
So it is aliens, what the hell?
May we please be friends?
Meteon. What is it?
Not sure I like that.
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness.
Well, it looks like it, right?
Connection established. Commencing status report. It hurts, it hurts. It hurts. So hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
Steady, Meteon. Steady.
So scared. So lonely. The pain. It's too much. Why? Why? Why do we... They hurt. Hurt. Hate. This is wrong. All wrong.
She's gone? But how?
What was Midgard's armor fleeing from again? Wasn't it Omega? I think so, right? Midgard's armor fled from Omega.
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings, an ability for avoiding confrontation.
Well, that's convenient.
Most effective. Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
Stay away. Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right? In your mind? No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteion also employs dynamis. That would explain why you were able to hear her, when we could not.
Because of my low etherical density. Yeah, I know. Stop bullying me.
Then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.